Buhari recognizes accomplishments of youth innovators in Nigeria, including a 20-year-old student of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, who built a portable automatic ventilator. Plus, more successes in taming banditry in the country as more victims are rescued. This is Panorama, live on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ian John. Welcome. Nigerian youths who have distinguished in various innovative skills have been recognized by the federal government for contributing to national development, especially at this time that the country is looking inwards for requisite skills. This was at the maiden edition of the National Youth Day, celebrated every November 1st, as approved by the Federal Executive Council. Ruth Aguele has details.
I thought that was all. Not until they introduced me to kidnapping. But even at that, you get money from me.
Described as resilient, passionate, and future of tomorrow, Nigerian youths have been given the accolades in different ways as they continue to break boundaries in diverse fields. In view of this recognition, the federal government is commemorating the National Youth Day to validate their contributions to national development, uphold their innovative spirit, and chart a new course to invest more in the future of the Nigerian youth and the nation.
The theme of this year's National Youth Day, which is Invest in the Youth, Secure Our Future, comes at the most appropriate time. It resonates across all strata of society. It rallies us all, government, private sector, and even the youth groups, to a new and urgent cause.
We all have different programs under our ministries geared towards supporting our youth to aspire to be what they want to be.
As stakeholders jointly look for the options for a better society devoid of violence, but rather dream of a future full of hopes and aspirations for our youth who represent continuity.
So we offer a handshake, to the Minister of Youth and Sport to see how we can nurture these young innovators and inventors, how they can move forward.
President Muhammadu Buhari, in a message through the Minister of the FCT, Mohammed Musa Bello, said the pivotal role played by Nigerian youths as agents of change, economic growth and sustainable development cannot be ignored, as the day offers an opportunity to dialogue with youths on the current situation in the country.
To allow protest is not a sign of weakness. It is indeed a sign of strength and belief in democracy and faith in the innate goodness of our people. This also shows confidence in the ability of our government to work with the people towards a reasonable and practical resolution to any challenge. This government extends a hand to you all to come and join in meaningful dialogue so that we can chart a way forward.
Some of the youths were awarded with prize of 1 million naira for their contributions in innovative ideas and app development.
With this kind of recognitions, it will give other people like hope and, think that, Nigeria government are actually looking out for youths.
It shows a lot that there is still something out there for me to gain.
The official logo of the 75 billion naira Nigeria Youth Investment Fund for the period of 2020 to 2023 was unveiled, dedicated in investing innovative ideas and skills of Nigerian youths as they were urged to take advantage of the opportunity to secure their future. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
The Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, has described the attack on TV Continental in the wake of the NSAS protest in Lagos as a malicious attack against free speech and democracy. The minister stated this in Lagos while on a solidarity visit to the organization. Anthony Forson reports.
This building is the powerhouse of TV Continental. It is the nerve center of the station's operations. Today, it is in ruins. It was brought to this state by hoodlums who hijacked the NSAS peaceful protest. Taking a walk round the premises is to take stock of the ruins left in the wake of the attack. from OB vans to official and private vehicles, just as the structural integrity of the building is under question. Describing the destruction as a product of arsonists who are all out to dwarf the voice of reason and stifle press freedom, the Information and Culture Minister condemned the action, expressing sadness at the extent of damage to the television station, assuring that government will continue to support responsible journalism.
Clearly, those who came here came with a purpose. It was to shut down the voice of reason. It was to shut down and attack the enviable free press we've enjoyed so far. But whoever attacks free press is also attacking democracy, because there can be no democracy without a robust and vibrant free press. And this is why this attack must be condemned without any reservation. And there's a direct link between fake news, the social media, and what happened here. But once again, we would not, as a government, be cowed by anybody in our determination to ensure there's a responsible use of the social media.
The director of TV Continental, Andrew Handlan, who conducted the minister and his entourage round the premises of the organization, appealed for support, given their role and contribution to the socio-economic development of Nigeria.
This is an enormous struggle for us that we are going through now, and we would implore federal and local government, not just for TVC, but for all broadcasters, to give us any assistance you can so that we can protect our jobs, protect our services, and make sure that we have a variety of services that are free of charge to all the good people of the Republic of Nigeria.
TVC, even though back on air, he said, is not operating at its optimal capacity. In Lagos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Meanwhile, in the aftermath of the wanton destruction of public and private facilities in Calabar, some elders and stakeholders in Cross River State are engaging traditional leaders, most of whom have direct positive impacts on youths within their domains, led by the immediate past governor of the state, Senator Liel Emoke. The group's message is for youths to dialogue with the leaders to address perceived grievances. Paul Abel reports.
Calabar South and Calabar municipal local government areas make up the Calabar metropolis, where the height of destruction was carried out by hoodlums disguising as NSAS protesters. In view of the magnitude of destruction, the visit by these elders, comprising a former military administrator, ambassador and National Assembly members, among others, to traditional rulers of Efok and Kors, is observed as the best possible way to reach the youth in their communities and seek advice on the way forward.
I know that the institutions that you have are critical when it comes to young people. The youth in the community still listen to you. So we must collectively address this.
The traditional rulers provide reasons for the cause and possible solutions to the problem.
And I'm so unhappy that the peace and calm that we used to have here is taken away. So please, my advice is that let the administration have everything and then work with everybody.
The children are angry. The children are hungry.
Many of the youth say that there is no job for them to do. They are abandoned. They are not taken into consideration.
The team maintains that dialogue is the only way out to resolve perceived failures of the political class, rather than the youth resulting to carrying arms and destroying critical government and personal infrastructures. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
And still in Cross River State, the arson carried out by suspected hoodlums and criminals in the name of NSAS protest in Cross River State has left the health sector in urgent need of intervention. Paul Abel again reports that HIV, tuberculosis and COVID-19 samples in some health facilities were carted away, thereby endangering the lives of people who may come in contact with them.
Some health facilities affected by the mayhem include Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Infectious Disease Hospital, World Health Organization Office, Essential Drug Program, COVID-19 Isolation Center, and some primary health care facilities across the state. The havoc wreaked on these health infrastructures come as a rude shock to all well-meaning Nigerians, as the act is capable of truncating effective health care delivery in the state.
It's so sad. This is not who the Nigerian youth represent. This is not who we are, and this can never be who we are. I just hope that we're able to sit back and rethink if this is actually the Nigeria we want, and if this is actually how we need to conduct ourselves to get the Nigeria we intend to get.
In view of the collateral damage, what now is the way forward?
That it will definitely affect the healthcare delivery in the state. However, we're not deterred. We'll continue to push, and we'll get whatever resources we have at our disposal with helps from international partners and indeed everyone, the federal government of Nigeria, to rebuild back our health system and to rebuild back our state. And we pray that this never, ever happens in our lifetime again.
As the state picks up bits and pieces of its life after the incident, it is believed that youth will never allow a repeat of such an occurrence in the future. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
In other news, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, SAN, said that the federal government of Nigeria is working seriously to end impunity for crimes against journalists and the public in general. This is contained in a message commemorating the United Nations International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists. The minister said that the 2020 Global Index for Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists by the Committee to Protect Journalists, released on Wednesday, 28th November, indicates that Nigeria is no longer among the countries with impunity for crimes against journalists. And Nigeria is the only country that came off the index from 2019. Malami described the achievement as a result of deliberate commitments of President Muhammadu Buhari through the implementation of many reforms in the Nigerian justice sector to include increased access to justice, speedy justice dispensation, decongestion of Nigeria's correctional centers, and judicious implementation of the Criminal Justice Act and justice sector reforms. He expressed optimism that with a solid foundation of reformed justice sector to be bequeathed by Buhari administration, never again will Nigeria feature among nations where journalists, citizens and inhabitants of the country will suffer from any form of impunity in the future. The minister said the recent developments in the Nigeria's international arbitration against P&ID and some international oil companies are indicators of resolute determination of the federal government to bring to an end the era of impunity and lack of adherence to due diligence and rule of law in government operations. If you just joined us, this is Panorama on the NTA. Time for a break. Do stay.
Recent genuine concerns and agitations by Nigerians about the excessive use of force and, in some cases, extrajudicial killings and wrongful conduct by men of the Nigerian police force. The disbanding of SARS is only the first step in our commitment to extensive police reform in order to ensure that the primary duty of the police and other law enforcement agencies remains the protection of lives and livelihoods of our people. We will also ensure that all those responsible for misconduct or wrongful acts are brought to justice. We also deeply regret the loss of life of the young man in Oyo State during the recent demonstrations. I have directed that the circumstances of his death should be thoroughly investigated. Meanwhile, it is important to recognize that the vast majority of men and women of the police force are hardworking and diligent in performing their duties. The few bad eggs should not be allowed to tarnish the image and reputation of the force.
Many thanks, Sustain. Now talking security. Troops of Operation Sahel Sanity operating in the northwest have rescued 3 women and their infants kidnapped by bandits in Diskuru village of Askari local government area of Katsina State. Details of the encounter contained in a statement by the Acting Director of Defense Media Operations, Brigadier General Bernard Onyuku, shows that the operation is sequel to a distress call on the activities of the bandits who arrived at the village on motorcycles, shooting sporadically to scare people. Brigadier Oyeku notes that 5 bandits were eliminated in a gun battle that ensued, with others escaping with injuries, while a soldier paid the supreme price. Similarly, 2 suspected bandits collaborators have been arrested in Dan Ali village. As part of efforts towards making the highways safer and eradicating incidences of road crashes and its attendant fatalities, the Court-Martial Federal Road Safety Corps, Dr. Boboye Oyeyemi, has urged administrators of local governments in the country to relocate markets from the highways, noting that this will help the existing operational efforts of the FRSC to enhance the safety of the motoring and pedestrian population. The Court-Martial made this call while decrying the recent road traffic crash caused by brake failure and loss of control that claimed multiple lives at the Ibaka area of Akungba, Akoko Southwest local government area of Ondo State on Saturday evening, while commiserating with families of the victims. The Court-Martial expresses concern over the rising statistics of innocent citizens who have lost their lives as a result of building markets close to the highways, and has since initiated impact-oriented operational strategies to curb the menace. The need for officers and men of the Nigerian Police Force to be accountable to citizens as they perform their role of ensuring internal security of Nigeria has been noted as necessary for societal support. Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya stated this while inaugurating the Gombe State Panel of Inquiry on Police Brutality. Emmanuel Akila reports.
In line with the resolution of the National Executive Council, Gombe State Government has come up with a panel that would investigate the excesses of the disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. Governor Inuwa Yahaya, who recounts the primary duty of the police, appreciates their efforts in the protection of lives and property of the citizenry, but lamented the undesired and excessive use of force by some men of the squad, which led to protests against them and their consequent disbandment by President Muhammadu Buhari.
While I urge you to present complaints that are well-grounded and supported by credible evidence, you must not turn this exercise into an avenue to enhance security personnel or settle personal scores.
The terms of reference of the Commission include investigation on abuses, brutality, and unjust treatment meted on members of the public by the members of the disbanded SARS.
We assure everybody, the complainant, and the person complained against, and our society at large, that we will do justice so that in the end we'll have peace in this state and the country in general.
The panel is expected to commence sitting on the 31st of October 2020 to receive complaints from members of the public for necessary actions that will bring about reforms in the Nigerian police force. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
And away from security matters now, the West African Examinations Council says it withheld the results of 215,149 candidates who sat for the 2020 West African Senior School Certificate Examination in Nigeria. The head of WAEC Nigeria, Patrick Arega, stated this at a briefing in Lagos while announcing the official release of the results of this year's WASC. The council said the results of the candidates, representing 13.98% of the total number of candidates who wrote the examination, are being withheld in connection with various reported cases of examination malpractice. The cases are being investigated, and reports of the investigations will be presented to the appropriate committee of the council for determination in due course. Out of the 1,538,445 candidates, 1,338,348 candidates, representing 86.99%, obtained credit and above in 5 subjects. Now, sustaining truthful and effective communication among agencies of government and citizens has been advocated by participants at the 6th Nigerian Prize for Leadership Dialogue Series. Haman Jabani reports.
The 6th Dialogue Series of the Nigerian Prize for Leadership, which focuses on trust, accountability and sacrifice, brings to the front burner 31 highlights with effective leadership, starting with accountability, with premium on honesty as the watchword for accountability. Stakeholders say the lack of trust, accountability and sacrifice are generally lacking in Nigerian political leadership, and that is why the country is not able to navigate the stairs of leadership to the top.
Lack of transparency in governance has further eliminated trust, made worse by the obvious disparity between lifestyles of elected leaders and the poverty that the followers must endure.
And leaders should be willing to take responsibility for the outcome of their actions and inactions. Leadership in trust, accountability, and sacrifice are important dimensions that we cannot look away from if we must rethink leadership in Nigeria.
Themselves, they need the trust of the people. They need people to trust them. So how do you get that trust? Even if that's the only thing I say, how do you get the people's trust? Or if something happened, as we had this NSAS problem, and you've lost the trust of the people, how do you rebuild trust?
I really think nobody has an answer, but together we can have answer. How can we come together? We need to have deliberate conversation.
We now have a responsibility to engage, to collaborate, and make sure that those who are charged with the responsibility and the mandate to protect the lives and citizens carry out this responsibility diligently.
There is disconnection between the old and the young people, which resulted in trust issue, leading to the recent crisis in the country. Hence, conversation must be restored for better leadership worthy of emulation, the 6th Dialogue Series believed. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
Let's now have a bit of sports, as Arsenal earned all 3 points at Manchester United with a lone goal victory in APL on Sunday, as Southampton equally won 4-3 at Aston Villa. Amanzi Marcus has more on Sports Update.
The league management company has approved 13 stadia fit to host matches in the new football season. Among them are Teslim Balogun Stadium, Lagos, Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City, Okigwe Township Stadium, Gombe Township Stadium in Pantami, Aparaku Stadium, Makurdi, Ahmadu Bello Stadium, Kaduna, Eyumba International Stadium, Aba, and Ilorin Township Stadium. Other stadia are expected to be upgraded ahead of the NPFL season bill to kick off later this month. Clubs whose home grounds are not ready prior to kick-off are to choose their home grounds from among those already certified. In tennis, the Polish-Brazilian pair of Lucas Kubo and Marcelo Melo on Sunday defeated Britain's Jamie Murray and Neil Skopsky 7-6, 7-5 to win a third Vienna title. In a related development, organizers of the ATP Finals in London have assured the flagship event will hold without fans, following the announcement of a month-long COVID-19 lockdown in England. We will continue to work with all relevant authorities to ensure that all necessary measures are put in place to ensure the safety of all those involved in the tournament, the ATP statement said. The 50th anniversary edition of the finals, which features the top 8 men's singles players and doubles teams, will be held at the O2 Arena in London for the last time from November 15 to 22 before it moves to Turin, Italy for the next 5 years. In boxing, former Unified World Cruiserweight Boxing Champion Alexander Usyk hopes to be the undisputed World Heavyweight Champion, not just World Champion. The 33-year-old Ukrainian was speaking at Wembley Arena in London after defeating Derek Chisora in a heavyweight fight. After 12 rounds, the judges scored 117 to 112, 115 to 113, and 115 to 113 in favor of Usyk in just his second heavyweight bout. The victory over the Briton Chisora means the Ukrainian remains mandatory challenger for Anthony Joshua's WBO belt. The Sports Update, Manzi Marcus, NTA News.
The fight against rape and rapists will not stop until the evil act is brought to an end. That's Panorama this Monday. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ian John.
There is a lot of fake news and